Hello, my friends. I was just hearing people talking about love in action, and I was thinking of this also as love aerobics.
Oh,
You know, yes, yes, I'm loving me, and I'm loving you, and I'm loving me, and I'm loving you. And that's sort of what love scoops could be, is love aerobics, where just bringing that love in. Ah, one of the things I was thinking about over the weekend with loop of awareness, which I have been so enamored of for decades, and find more more qualities that happen for us when we practice love in action. And the one that occurred to me today is that your loop of awareness is one of the quickest ways to is to move yourself into presence. So whatever is going on, if you meet that with shifting your attention, then you move into presence where you're actually able to make choices and you're able to give attention freely rather than having your attention captured. And so, one thing I wanted to suggest to you was to think of something that has been grabbing your attention. Whether it's something going on with you or something going on in the world or with a friend. We just got news that one of our closest friends is in pre-Alzheimer's, and so that was really an attention grabber. And what I'd like you to notice is, so bring that to your mind, and then I'd like you to notice, does this take your attention more out of you, or more, does it get stuck in, or does it get stuck out? So you can begin to notice when your attention gets captured, do you have patterns of how your attention gets captured? And that can help you to discern. And that action of discerning is also a loop of awareness, because you're giving attention and then wondering, adding wondering to that. And so I'd like you to notice, do you become an outie or an innie? And I'd like you to exaggerate that a little bit. What do you do with your body? What do you do with your attention when it gets captured? Like when I go out, just to give you an example, my pattern is to go out with a kind of a grip. So I get faster and I get grippy, and it's kind of a so I do a freeze forward, and I can feel it in my face especially. So let yourself exaggerate for a moment, just so you get more information, so you're not inside of it. You can let yourself explore it while letting it happen. Because a lot of what we do is, oh, I can't be doing that, but that's what you're doing. And when you don't give attention to what you're doing, you keep that whole loop going. So exaggerate it, and then notice what would allow you to go the other direction with your attention. Yeah, beautiful. I love, Pamela, how you're exaggerating that. So, like, if you're exaggerating, we could all try that one on. If I'm in here, what allows me to actually go the other direction? So, for me, I just noticed that adding in a little fear melter. So, when I add in a wiggle, that then allows my attention to go the other way. So, I want you to experiment with exaggerating. So, like, when my attention goes out, oh my God, what allows me to bring it back in? And I realize, for coming back in, for me, it's taking a breath, because when I go out, I also freeze my breath. So when I take a breath, I can bring my attention back to me, and then I can start that flow. So the sort of tossing of my attention. So I invite you to play with that for a little bit, so you get some actual information you can play with, because the onslaught of chaos is not slowing down. And so one of the things I also do is this cannot be happening. I cannot believe this is happening. So I get kind of, which I think is not either in here or out there. I think it's out there. It's in limbo, and I'm flailing. And when I'm flailing, oh, I just realized this is so sweet, because my body is telling me, find your feet. Find your feet, sweetie, find your feet. And so I realized that even in the middle of all of this, that my body wisdom is speaking to me. And I just found that just so cool. And then when I find my feet, that whole thing just kind of melts. It's like, and then what you can add to that is then circulating your attention, because everything I've learned about metaphysics in the last many years is that circulation is all. I think the founder of homeopathy, that was one of the things that he said. Andrew Taylor Still said that circulation is all, and it's true for our physical health. I think it's true for our mental health, for our emotional health, and it's certainly true for our connections, circulating. And so the loop of awareness, what it does is circulate your attention. So even as you're listening to me, notice, are you circulating your attention, or does it get caught? It's likely to get caught. Mine circulates pretty well now, but I've been practicing for decades. And so when you get caught, the ease of shifting your attention, letting your body sensations, letting your movement support you in shifting your attention. And I can absolutely feel the difference between being caught and being in charge of my own attention. And to me, that's really the biggest benefit of using a loop of awareness, is that I can create presence. And I notice, Marshall, I notice you're up and moving around. That's great. I have given myself permission to do that, even in a meeting, even when somebody is, like more important and has the stage, letting myself stand up and move really allows me to presence myself. And my guess is that the unconscious strategy going on for many people right now is that is to keep us from actually being present. So when you're present, you make choices. And when you're present, you can say, you can use your presence to also be a magnet or a beacon for presence for others. And I had this wonderful experience last week. I was taking Greta, one of our cats, to the vet because she still had this thing, and I wanted to make sure she didn't have bad teeth. And from the moment I walked in to the moment I got back out into my car, it was a party. I just had the best time with everybody, and there were big dogs in there, and Greta was meowing and feeling oppressed. And but I realized, when I left, I realized, oh, I was a beacon of presence for people. And so, in a vet with a cat with a whole bunch of dogs, if I could do that, I thought, damn, this has power. So that wherever you show up, presence, connect, play can occur. And it's such a nourishment. I mean, I realized when I left there that everybody was smiling and we were joking. And I was also able to kind of play with people, rather than being caught in, these are dogs and they're going to, they're being bad to my cat, and, all those kinds of stories. So the practice of loop of awareness can continue to deepen for you and continue to have like more curly cues and more. It can become like a maypole where there are all kinds of other things that circulate around your loop of awareness that allow you to create a good time no matter where you are and no matter what else is going on. So for me, that was just so, it was a phase transition, what we call a quantum shift. It wasn't like I'm doing this better and this better. It's like, oh, this is a new state. And so I thought, wow, what a reward for the practice over all these years. And so my request of you is that you let yourself have the experience doing it a little bit more, because we tend to blame ourselves like, uh-oh, I shouldn't be doing that. I should be paying attention. And so if you let yourself get curious about what you're doing, do it a little more, and then shift the other direction. And then that kind of opens up the log jam and gets that flowing. So let yourself notice any differences in your body experience, your body sensations as we've been playing together. So one of the things I'm noticing is more of a lightness. The other thing I think is so valuable to add to when you're stuck and you've lost your loop is to give some attention to your breath. So if you add breath to your loop of awareness, that's a really fast shift into presence. So almost always you're either going to not be breathing or you're going to be breathing faster than your body really can make use of the nourishment. So those are the suggestions today for loop of awareness. And also your love scoop is also a way of bringing your attention from wherever it is to you, and making you a priority. Like my presence, it's really, putting on your mask first before sharing with others. And I know a lot of you are very generous and would hand your mask to anybody who needed it. But then you are not able to continue using your presence to be of benefit to everybody. So your mask first. All right, so that's for our play with loop of awareness. And Darlene, do you have the card ready to show to people? Thank you. All right, so I'd like you to let yourself now loop, that is, give your attention, let your attention just go on into the collage, and then drawing it back to you, and then back into the card, and then back to you. And let yourself see if you can let that loop continue while you're listening, first to the sentence and then to the question. I can place non-judgmental attention on all my body sensations and emotions. I can place non-judgmental attention on all my body sensations and emotions. So another way of saying that is I can place curious attention. But since so many people are judgmental, we wanted to start with non-judgmental. What would it be like? It's almost like what would it be to not judge? So you may also let yourself just go ahead and judge, just really judge, and especially judge your body sensations. Like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling like that, and oh, there's that tingling again, or oh, my shoulder's sore again. God damn it. So when you give judgmental attention, what would it be like to shift into curiosity? Like going in, there's that thing that's in the middle of this collage, and I'm going into and going, what the hell is that? And then coming back to me and going, oh, that's what my throat feels like sometimes in the morning. So the question is, in what manner can I sense and discern the difference between emotions and body sensations? For example, between hunger and fear. Whoa. So in what manner or how can I sense and discern the difference between emotions and body sensations? For example, between hunger and fear. So when I look at this collage too, it reminds me of how when there's a lot going on and I don't know what it is and it's sort of jumbly, it sort of looks like this inside me. There's just all kinds of things, there's a jungle and there's underground and there's lava and there's prehistoric critters and and I'm going, what the hell is going on? And this is where discerning, letting yourself just get curious about what's actually going on here. So let's come back to the big group, because the discerning, using my attention to discern the difference between emotions and body sensations. So first of all, emotions, in my experience, in what I've learned from the research, emotions are a bunch of body sensations that glom together and ride through your body together. So your anger sensations come from your back, and they start with a gripping between your shoulder blades, and they flow up and over. Whereas your sadness sensations usually are located in your high chest and throat, and they they have a very different quality, but they're made up of body sensations. So if you're able to, and then of course, fear, which we studied a lot, is around your belly button and can be racy, queasy, or butterfly sensations. And Gay's best example of this was when he was able to discern the difference between fear and hunger. That allowed him to lose over 150 pounds, many, many years ago. So if I can discern the difference between sadness and wanting attention, I can then give my own attention to my sadness and my feeling of loss, and then it opens up my ability to receive. One of the things I notice is if I haven't given attention to my body sensations and my emotions, I am much more likely to get into that grip that I was talking about, that keeps me from receiving attention from others, which is such a balm for whatever is going on, letting the feelings flow or making a request about something that I want. But simply also being able to discern allows me to let my body intelligence inform me. So rather than resisting it, if I get curious about, oh, what's going on here? Oh, is there something that wants to be communicated? Oh, I forgot to finish that conversation with my friend where I was really mad about something that happened and I didn't finish that and it's still in my body. So it can inform you about incompletes, about what you're wanting, but it all starts with circulating your attention, giving attention to your body sensations, and then letting yourself follow those. So that card has made a huge difference. That skill that's on that card has made a huge difference. So am I actually hungry or am I scared? And I think mostly I'm scared. And so I want to handle the emotion first. And then it's much clearer to say, what do I really want and what do I really need, rather than, eating my fear. So a lot of us have learned to eat or drink our feelings. And if I give attention to my feelings, the flow of my attention is actually much more nourishing than food, or drink, or compulsively scrolling on my phone. So it gives us more freedom and more choice, which is part of the point of what we're up to here. So let me now turn to my Presence Connect Play. And I hope you all have your Presence Connect Play app, because that's something that you could also turn to. Like, I don't know what's going on right now, but let me just jigger things and, give myself an experience of Presence Connect Play so that I can presence myself again. So presence, so presence is get curious with So that's a great thing to add to your loop, that hmm, calms your nervous system, literally it calms your vagus nerve and gives you a chance to give yourself presence. So, so try on your for today, letting yourself notice, what's the pitch? My is a little bit lower pitch today than it often is. So, and I'm realizing that it's giving more, I'm getting more vibration in the sides of my neck and throat, which is great because I have a little rash on my, on the left side of my neck, and it's kind of going, and I'm feeling that lovely vibration. I don't know what it is yet, but it's giving me a sense of, giving attention there. So the, letting yourself also try on, as you're looking out and tuning into other people, the also opens up my ability to see others and to see them at a deeper level and to appreciate Oh, which takes us to connect. Connect is listen appreciatively. In our cultivating new stories for humanity, our whole month currently is about listening appreciatively. And the act of appreciating, especially appreciating yourself and others as a work of art, when you listen to others as and you're adding in the and the you're looking for and listening for and sensing into what are the qualities that are going on right now? What am I hearing? What am I feeling? What is my body sharing with me about what I'm hearing? Is a beautiful way of creating connection. And I find even if I don't say very much, if I'm listening appreciatively, I can really feel and generate a deeper connection that's very powerful. And you can see it by the way other people relate to you. So listening appreciatively is especially challenging when there's a kerfuffle going on, of some kind, if there's a conflict or a misunderstanding. So the moment I can drop into that may be where I get caught in my loop of awareness. I may be caught out in, they didn't like what I just said. And then I just do a little looping, and then I can add in my listening appreciatively. So these things will fall out and then you can bring them back in again. It's like, okay, we can come back to this. And then play. Ooh, I don't think we've had this one in a while. Mirror the other with your body. So when I'm teaching a class, especially if it's an in-person class, I will ask people to literally mirror when they're listening to another person, to literally mirror with their body what the other person is doing. And we have various activities where we play with that. It's also a big dance movement therapy practice, when you do mirroring with others. It's very fun. And you can do that inside yourself. You can do little mini mirroring, so if somebody is a little droop going, you can try on that droop and then give loving attention to you. And when I find if I'm looking at somebody, I notice something and I love that in myself, it immediately has an impact on the other person. And we used to do this in big trainings where somebody would say, okay, do you notice the guy over there? He's not breathing. So I'd like you to not breathe for a second and then love yourself for not breathing and then notice what happens over there. And it's really, really cool because almost always the person starts breathing or there's a shift in their body. So our awareness and our consciousness has great power. And if you're letting yourself mirror and love yourself, and first love yourself. So again, put your mask on first. First love yourself because you probably are noticing it because you do the same thing. And then when you've loved that, like a tightness or a tone of judgmental or whatever it is, and you love that in you, and then you give your attention to the other, and lo and behold, something has shifted. It's very efficient. It's much more efficient than going, hey, I noticed, and what were you doing? And then by then the moment is gone. But if in the moment you give your attention to just loving, and then loving that in you, and then you just even giving your attention, you don't even have to love it in them if you've loved it in you first. And so then it just circulates all of these possibilities of opening up to love and connection rather than dropping into the usual conflict that we have with each other. So that's it for today, but I don't want to end before we've done some here I am, and I'm so glad. And then find another way of doing it. Here I am, and I'm so glad. And once more. Here I am, here I am, here I am, here I am, and I'm so glad, I'm so glad. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And please continue your conversation and looping as long as you'd like. And I'm going to take my leave. And thanks again, Darlene. Michelle is on a well-deserved vacation. I think it's also birthdays. Don't they have birthdays? Yeah. Yeah. So both she and Dean have birthdays now. So they're having a lovely road trip. So thank you to everybody. And thanks, Darlene. And I will see you next time. I got to find my arrow here. All right.
Thank
Mwah.
you.